everyone, I am Dr. Nisha Kumari, Assistant Professor at School of Business, Aditya University. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss regarding the techniques which we can use to analyze the feedback. By the end of this particular lecture, you will be able to differentiate between the different techniques which we are having, such as the thematic analysis, sentiment, data visualizations, and the insight generation based on their purpose and the role to interpret the user feedback, as well as you will be able to apply the appropriate feedback analysis based on the requirements or the information required. So previously we were discussing regarding the one of the last stage of design thinking process was testing. Under that testing, we are talking about how we are going to collect the data from the users, means the feedback from the users, and then based on the feedback we are going to do the some kind of modifications, upgradations, or the changes in the product or the service. So while we are talking about the testing part, first we are going to collect the feedback. Now after feedback, it is very important to analyze those feedback, and based on this analysis only we can get the exact data what the action is required. So for this analysis part, we are going to discuss some different techniques today. First one is your thematic analysis. So in thematic analysis, what is happening? We are going to get the qualitative data, and that qualitative data we are going to frame within some kind of patterns, or you can say the themes. For example, such as you can see in this particular picture, that whatever the data is they gathered, they divided them in some kind of category. First one is your speed issues, second one is your navigation problem, or third one is your feature request. So now the data which they collected, the feedback they collected, whether it's the speed is very slow, it takes long to load, loading time is terrible. So these are the similar kind of nature of the feedback which they got, and they merged those and they put those particular feedbacks from the users into one special category which they name the speed issue. That these are the different users who are facing the problems in terms of the speed. Same wise the people who are facing the problem regarding the navigations. So hard to find the features, confusing checkout, not clear where to click. So these are all comprising one particular theme which comes under your navigation problem. So in thematic analysis, what happens? We create some kind of patterns or the themes which are continuously occurring, and to those patterns we are going to give one particular name, and under that particular theme, whatever the feedback is given by the different users, all this will come under in this particular one theme or the pattern which we identify. So how it works? First we will go through from the entire data. We are going to read the data, and then we are going to give the meaningful segmentation to them, or you can say the meaningful theme name to them, such as your slow checkout. Here we mentioned speed issues, navigation problem, or the feature request. And after that, the codes will be there to the broader theme, that payment friction, and then we are going to label and define each and every theme. So in that, what happens? For example, you can talk about these things. If you want to see, here we are talking about the financial parameters. Here we mention the broader theme, financial parameters. Now under financial parameters, we mentioned here savings, loans, and investment. Now whatever the feedback or whatever the data, here I am not talking about regarding some one particular product or the app which regarding those things which we got the feedback. Here I am giving you just generalized example for understanding the thematic analysis. So here, for example, when we are talking about getting to know any individual or about their family, so we spoke about we talk about one broader theme we took. There we mentioned it's a financial parameter. Under those financial parameters, what are the sub themes which we are having? Based on that, we are going to understand that particular individual in the terms of finance. So here we gave the sub theme savings, loans, and investments. Now whatever the information or whatever the data is given by the users, we will mention here. So this way we are going to create, or we are going to do the analysis of the data which we are collecting. So same wise we are going to create one broader theme. After that broader theme, your will be sub codes will be there, or you can say the sub theme, and in those sub themes, whatever the feedback we got from the users, those feedbacks will be there. So now what happens here, the unstructured text, because previously we were having some different paras, one big para is there, okay, and from all the users. So if you, for example, you collected the data from 20 users, so now that 20 users data, rather than reading that entire open-ended answers which we collected from the users, every time what we will do, we will organize them in a particular manner. And how we are going to organize it? By creating the themes and sub-themes for that particular data. For example, analyzing the 50 interview scripts. So here what I have mentioned, that we find that there are some repetitive codes such as your confusing menu, hidden search bar, unclear buttons. So what we did, we all together group them and mention in the navigation issue. So these are the different what we can say, the feedback which we got from the users, and we clubbed and grouped those feedbacks into one category, navigation issues. We are doing nothing but we are creating the themes based on the nature or based on the continuation of that particular or like same kind of nature of statements or the data. Then second one is your sentiment analysis. So in that sentiment analysis, what is happening? Based on the emotional tone of the users, we are going to understand their feedback in three categories. First one is your positive, then negative and the neutral. For example, someone is saying that I love the new update whatever is been done in this particular app. So by listening that particular sentence, or by like how the way they are saying that particular sentence, we are able to understand that it's a positive statement. Where someone is saying that this app is continuously crashing or constantly crashing, so what will be happening? It will come under your negative. And if a user is not saying anything regarding the service which we are giving to them or the product, it will come under your neutral category. So for example, if you want to analyze the data regarding the app, 500 apps review, so how we are analyzing? The people who are talking about positive, or you can see that they gave the positive comments. So all this will come under your positive category. If someone is complaining, or giving some kind of negative comment, so it will come under your negative category. And if the user is not saying anything, it will come under your neutral, because they didn't said anything. So likewise, we are going to conduct the sentiment analysis based on the reviews which we got on the portal from the users. So while we talk about the sentiment analysis, it helps to understand the emotions and the attitude of the users or the customers. Third one is your data visualization. So in data visualizations, we are having different methods to visualize. Visualize means to present your data. Here you can see in the picture, for example, here bar graph is there, trend map is there, heat map is there, correct? So based on these things, these kind of visualizations or these kind of representations, we are going to represent the data of the users which we collected. So if, for example, if you want to compare the frequencies, we can use the bar charts. Line graph, if you want to show some kind of trends, you can use the line graphs. Heat maps, if you want to show some kind of intensity or the concentration. And word clouds in the sense like there will be the size of the term or the keyword which is more frequently used. For example, if you talk about here data, so if this size is there, means is the big one. Here we will talk about the qualitative, quantitative. Here you will mention user, here you will mention scores, problems. So what is happening? If you talk about this particular word cloud, the data is the most used term in the information which we collected in the form of the feedback. So here they are the different methods they mention, and using these different methods based on the requirement of our analysis, we are going to visualize the data, which helps in communicating the insights of from those particular collected feedback to the team as well as the stakeholders. By seeing that particular graphs or some kind of pictures, you are able to understand, okay, this is the entire scenario and this is the way where consumers are going, whether it's a positive one or negative one, or what is the trend is going in the market. So altogether based on the requirement. So the key characteristic of this particular method is that it's going to turn the number into the visual stories. Whatever the numbers you assigned, 1, 2, 3, 4, or if you are getting the 10 users are saying good, 15 users are saying bad, okay, 25 are saying satisfied. So now rather than mentioning like sentences or some kind of statements, what we can do, we can create one graph, and here by this particular thing we can get to know what are the responses are there from the users by visualizing that particular data. Now the last one is your insight generation. So in insight generations, what happened? From the data which we collected, from the feedback which we collected, we came up with this kind of statements, the insight statements which lead to the action. While we talk about the insight generations, here based on the feedbacks, based on the data which we collected, we are going to create the statements, concise statements and the clear statements which will lead to some action rather than just providing you the information. So while we talk about the insight generations, it analyzes the data into actionable and non-obvious finding that drives the decision in the your design or the what we can say the product or the app. For example, here it's mentioned that user needs shipping cost upfront because unexpected fee break trust and increase cart abandonment. Sometimes what happens, for example, if you are using Swiggy, so while we are selecting the product which we want to buy, the food item which we want to buy, and after selecting that food item, when we are going in the payment page, they will add unannounced GST, that too higher in comparison to the other places, as well as the platform fee or some kind of delivery charges. So what will be happening, while we are seeing okay this particular food item or this particular restaurant is charging more GST, we will cancel that idea and will go and search again, correct? So based on, because of those kind of hidden charges or because of those untold charges, what happens, they cancel the order and they came back again to the searching part. So in insight generations, what happened, the data which we got, we are going to turn into the statements which will tell us what actions are required and the reasons of those actions. So in overall, when we talk about the thematic analysis, it identifies the patterns from the qualitative feedback. Sentiment analysis, it determines the emotional tone behind the feedback which is given by the users. And data visualization, it transforms the data in a visual format to reveal the trends and the patterns. Insight generation, it gives you the meaningful insights to take the actionable decision regarding the particular feedbacks which we collected. The thematic analysis is best for to understand what users are saying and what are the main concerns they are having, or what are the main topics there which they are discussing about. And sentiment analysis, how the users are feeling about their product or their experiences regarding the product or the service. Data visualization, to understand the trends, the relationship at the glance. And for insight generation, to get the decision which are actionable rather than simply as a information part. So when we talk about the overall techniques, analysis techniques of the feedback which we collected, it helps us to transform their raw responses into the structured one, and based on that thing we are able to like draw some kind of meaningful insights. We are able to take the actionable decisions, as well as we are able to understand the trends or the relationships you can say, and we are able to understand why and what also, like why the users mention this particular statement, why they are feeling in this way, and what are their feeling, what is their real feeling. And based on those things we are able to visualize and we are able to communicate with our team members as well as the stakeholders. So effective feedback analysis like improves the users understanding and reduce the uncertainty in their decisions which they are taking, and it also strengthens the continuous innovation and the user-centered problem solving. Thank you.